Well, thanks for joining us here on WVLT Plus, WVLT across all of our streaming platforms just after 2 o'clock on this Wednesday. Getting through the week, getting things done. Beautiful view outside of Ober Mountain. But the big story, at least out of East Tennessee, that we are tracking today, if you like coal, it's sticking around. As far as the Tennessee Valley Authority is concerned, the TVA has unanimously approved, the board did, unanimously approved coal coming back to the Kingston fossil plant. Back in 2024, they talked about phasing these things out and getting cleaner energy. One of the things they talked about was how many people have come to East Tennessee as one of the big needs to boost our energy production capabilities and find cheaper ways to do it as well. They also talked about the Trump administration, the TVA board did, and how regulatory things under the Biden administration, more green policies going away, bringing the rise to coal once again. It's a big deal that this is happening at the Kingston coal plant. Just to kind of go over some of the numbers that we see. The Kingston fossil plant, when burning that coal, powers 760,000 homes across the Tennessee Valley. It keeps hundreds of jobs here in East Tennessee since coal is sticking around. An extra 3,000 megatons of energy will be produced with the renewed use of coal that's happening at all of the TVA coal plants. All of those coal plants are going to be up and running. The full fleet the TVA has, they say, for the foreseeable future. The board voting to authorize continued operations. They voted just earlier today here, videos from that meeting where they voted to add more money, more resources to this. It was supposed to stop coal-wise in Kingston next year. They're saying we're going to push even further from this. That's going to bring in more resources, more jobs as well, since this isn't saying, hey, let's push it one more year, maybe two. They are saying for the foreseeable future, we are going to be rolling coal here at the TVA plants all across East Tennessee. Take a listen.
I'd be very happy to. I'm very pleased to be here today to recommend to the board that you authorize TVA to continue to operate both units at our Cumberland fossil plant and all 9 units at our Kingston fossil plant. I'll get into the details of the recommendation in a moment, but before I do, I want to start by acknowledging President Trump, his administration, and specifically his Energy Dominance Council, without whom we would not be in the position today to recommend continuing to operate over 3,000 megawatts of beautiful, clean coal that will directly support energy resiliency, reliability, and low-cost power for the 10 million people we serve. By way of background, a previous board authorized the retirement of both units at Cumberland and all 9 units at Kingston and their replacement with natural gas generation. Since that time, we've seen a number of significant changes, not only in our region, but across the country. Most significantly is a significant increase in electricity demand and the declaration of an energy emergency. We've also seen a significant change in the regulatory outlook, particularly for coal, and that creates both the opportunity and the need for us to revisit these decisions. And so what we're recommending today is that the board authorize us to continue to operate both units at Cumberland, all units at Kingston, and the replacement gas units moving forward. I want to talk a little bit about these sites, and you can see a picture is worth 1,000 words. Our Cumberland fossil plant on the left is located on the banks of the Cumberland River on Lake Barkley, just about an hour away from here. The 2 units at Cumberland produce just under 2,500 megawatts of power. Incidentally, the Cumberland units are the biggest units on the TVA system today. And that 2,500 megawatts of power is enough to supply almost 1.4 million homes across our region. The Kingston coal plant, located on the Clinch River in East Tennessee, is capable of producing just under 1,300 megawatts of power. That's enough energy to supply almost 760,000 homes across the region. Together, these 2 plants not only provide reliable electric power, they support over 500 jobs at the sites, as well as additional workers through outages, and of course, the fuel supply that goes into the plant supports jobs in our region and beyond. So our recommendation is to authorize TVA to continue to operate all the coal units and the replacement gas units, and to direct staff to apply for all necessary permits to continue those operations at these sites, and to direct staff to fund the continued investment in Cumberland and Kingston to ensure their reliable operations and their staffing, and to approve us entering into any necessary fuel supply contracts to supply those plants moving forward.
That plan unanimously approved by the TVA board. So coal really going to kind of make a resurgence here. And you talked about really the perfect storm. You have all these people moving here. You have this vast surge of energy necessity, really, as the volunteer state is, and really the whole region with TVA. This meeting was up in Kentucky earlier today. You have all this energy need, and then you have President Trump, the White House, EPA, other regulatory agencies coming in, allowing certain things, taking back restrictions in terms of clean energy and restrictions on coal burning. So that perfect storm coming together with the TVA saying we need more power, we need to do it cheaper, we need to use the machines that are available to us, and what better to use the ones that are in our own backyard. So Kingston coal plant, the fossil plant there, and the Cumberland plant, the two big ones they talked about. Over 1 million homes for the Cumberland one, 760,000 homes for the Kingston plant. Over 500 jobs between these two plants alone, and obviously more will continue to trickle in as offshoots at the plant and different things get added on. And of course, like I said, the coal not just sticking around for another year or two like it originally was going to do when they set their last rules in 2024. They say coal is going to be burning for the foreseeable future. Everyone on the TVA board seemed very thrilled with that when they made that vote, obviously unanimously. Really not a lot of extra discussion going into that. Now, in the report that they had to vote on that talked about all the things that they'd be doing, whether they're going to have gas at certain places, where they're going to have other kind of battery, accessible device things, that kind of remains to be seen with what they're doing moving forward. Our Jared Austin's going to have more on that, of the specifics, getting down to, okay, we're going to keep coal, we're going to add gas, how are we going to do all of this? But that's just going to bring more jobs to our region. The other thing they talked about in 2024 was making sure that there is a plan to make sure as we burn coal, we continue to do so in the cleanest way possible. Watch out for any environmental hazards, how they deal with the coal ash, new plans being developed and new plans in place that TVA has been working at. Obviously, spills of years past, learning from that, moving forward. So a lot more than just firing up these coal plants and keeping them fired up as we move forward. But big things happening once again today. TVA approving to keep the Kingston coal plant open. Kind of the unofficial sign that you're home as you head east on I-40 into East Tennessee, and you see those stacks, you know, whether you live in Roane County and wherever, Knox County, you're getting close to that destination. So coal's going to continue to burn out of those for the foreseeable future. The latest from TVA today. And our Jared Austin, got to have more from them coming up on WVLT News at 6 o'clock. And as we get into the evenings, make sure you have that free WVLT News app. We can send any alerts like the TVA voting. We had that live in the app earlier today. We'll send those notifications right to the palm of your hand so you can be ready, get the news as soon as we do. All right, that'll do it for us here in our First Alert Center, WVLT Plus area across our streaming platform. Hope you have a good day. Cole coming back and staying around, really sticking around for the foreseeable future here in East Tennessee. We'll have much more coming up, the latest in the search for Savannah Guthrie and that First Alert forecast as we get into the weekend with Valentine's Day on Saturday. Belle Oliver and Spencer Ditton, our meteorologist, going to have that for you this afternoon. We'll see you starting at 3:30, 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11. We hope you have a good Wednesday.